circuit, down to the tightest second gear Botica chicane, then it goes down to a fairly tight left-hander down towards the University. And as the guys are out there, no tyre warmers allowed for this, and it's a matter of just weaving around, trying to get a little bit of heat into those tyres before we get underway once the safety car has pulled off. And we've got to keep an eye on that safety car. Once the lights go out, we'll know we're virtually ready for a start.
Yeah, I mean, there's no tyre warmers allowed for this set of tyres that they're starting on, but of course the tyres that they're going to be changing to in the pit stop, they will now be preheated. These cars are going around. I think they're allowed to preheat them to a maximum of 70 degrees, which realistically isn't a lot, because the tyre optimum temperatures are close to sort of 160, 170 degrees, but it will give you a bit more grip initially when you get going.
There is the grid. There's Power on pole, Pavlovic, Danielson and Winkelhock. Salignon 5th, 6th, Kubica, the winner from race 1, Miguez in 7th, and Colin Fleming 8th place there. 9th, Valles, Gomendi, the Frenchman, 10th, Montanari in 11th, and Portero, the local driver, in 12th. 13th is Dutchman Van Lagen. Ryan Sharp from the UK, 14th. As we look down, Toccocello there in 18th position, and he's got some work to do. 5th in the championship, Toccocello, so he really needs to get going there. La Rosa, Mondini, Paganald, Mongello. And those boys really are going to be struggling unless they can do anything in the pit stops trying to pass. And Zuber again at the back. He's had a nightmare, hasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he had some sort of infringement in qualifying, the second qualifying, which is a bit complicated, really. They deemed that he'd received outside assistance because he had a mechanical problem on the circuit. It's don't know the exact details of it, but that's the official line.
Okay.
Well, we could say the lights have gone off the safety car. I think they're going to just start like they did in the first race after just the one lap, and coming down the bridge now. So he's going to pull off in 2 corners time, I think.
Yeah, they will do as those lights go off on the safety car. That's one of the fast corners, and they're all bunching up. You can see now, and it's led by Will Power. As right behind our commentary booth, we can hear the revs going up as they start getting up to racing speed through the chicane. Yellow flags out, no passing. A lock up there from one of the drivers as they come around the final 2 corners to start this 22-lap race, and it's Will Power from Pavlovic as they go over the line, and away we go for the main event. We have a green flag and we are off, and it's Power from Pavlovic from Danielson in 3rd place, and everyone tippy-toeing through that first chicane.
Oh, Will Power's gone straight on.
Yeah,
and Power went a little bit wide. No, Pavlovic can't take advantage of that.
Yeah, he just got in there too hot, didn't he?
Yeah, I think maybe the carbon brakes, they tend to cool off quite quickly. Maybe Power didn't have enough temperature, but he certainly went a bit wide, and Pavlovic is all over the back of him now as they go through turn 2 at the University.
Yeah, and the same deal for everyone. Tyres a bit down, temperatures brakes down a little bit, and you're absolutely right. Power went over that curve big style, lost some ground, but Pavlovic wasn't really in a position to jump on him and do anything about it. Now he's regrouped, and it looks to me like Will Power got a good run out of there, up over the bridge. We go over the top of the Dutso Bridge there, and that is over the top of the Bilbao River, and now it is Pavlovic that's being hassled now by Danielson.
Yeah, I mean, Danielson does, Pavlovic, big air there over that bump, almost like a rally car. Power sort of regrouped, like you said, and he's just now edged away, 3 or 4 car lengths, which is just enough to take the pressure off him. But, he's going to go across the line the first time, and then after that is when all the interesting strategies are going to start playing themselves out. But at the moment, though, it is Danielson who's looking a bit racy behind Pavlovic in 2nd place. Yeah,
and that's working, as you say, for Power. He really kind of boxed them all up, I think, a little bit, and he's just stretching his legs a little bit now. His deal will be to get as much of an advantage as he can on these few first laps, first time around. He's a second quicker than anyone else, but it's all about these pit stops now as we get that great view over the top there. 5th, 6th gear, over 200 Ks at that point on the circuit, hard on the brakes, down into 2nd gear, and really, Will Power's got the hammer down. He's pit stops already.
A couple of cars in,
yeah. 3 cars already in there. Very early pit stops for these guys as we wait to see who's actually gone in at this point.
I'm not 100% sure about that, Steve, because my understanding of the rules was that they have to wait until the car finishes the first lap. So I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be okay, but we'll find out as we go along.
I think they are okay, because as far as I was aware, once they had crossed the start line, which they did under the after the pace car had gone in, so we'll wait and see what goes on. But that's pretty early stops there for those guys. But this is working at the moment, because if number 4, Will Power, we're looking at here, if he can get some sort of an advantage before we get any signs of any safety cars, and we're assuming that there's going to be a safety car, not necessarily saying there's going to be, but there's a very good chance that we might see one, and if he can stretch his advantage maybe for 2 or 3 seconds, that'll give him a nice window to come in for his stop.
Yeah, but this is going to be interesting now, because okay, Will Power's got clean air up ahead, but the likes of Valles and Winkelhock and Salignon, I think, who are the 3 who stopped, they're now going to be clean. You know, there's no one ahead, no one behind them. They could really get the hammer down, try to leapfrog ahead of Pavlovich and Danielson on the stop. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, very much so.
You know, Power, he's just got the hammer down, hasn't he? He's broken Pavlovich's challenge already.
Yeah, a real strong driver. He was the Minardi test driver, wasn't he, 2 years ago for the Formula 1 team. Last year ran in the British Formula 3000 Championship.
Formula 3 champ. Yeah, he did British F3. He's done Formula Holden in Australia. I think he's done some Australian F3 as well. So, very committed, isn't he? He is really pushing hard. Protege of Mark Webber, and you know, I think Webber really guides and sort of advises him quite a bit in all the various aspects of his career. He's definitely the next big Aussie Formula 1 hopeful, Will Power.
What an lead he has. He crosses the line, yeah.
And Pavlovich is in the pits, yeah. We can see GD Racing decide to bring Milos in quite early.
Front tyres, big change.
Bit slow, 7.3 seconds.
Slow.
Yeah, he's lost a couple of seconds. It's going to be interesting to see if he gets out ahead of Winkelhock and Baez. We see Pavlovich rejoin. I can't make out if he's got clear, but it does appear to have. We'll find out when we get round at the end of the next lap. But Will Power has broken away, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
He's 4.5 seconds ahead.
Yeah, well, this is tremendous stuff from him, and he's just praying. He'll be talking to himself, please, please don't anyone crash. We don't need a safety car now. But I would have thought very shortly he's going to have to think about coming in, really, because if we do get a safety car, that lead will be eradicated. Everyone will bunch up.
I think he's probably going to come in, if not this lap, then the next one. I mean, he is easily the class act of the field at the moment. And he, you know, at the end of the day, everyone else has to stop at some point as well, I think. So he's just trying to make sure that when he does stop, he doesn't get caught up behind the slower cars, I think. He's trying to break away, just make sure that when he does rejoin, he's amongst the quick bunch at the front end of the field.
Yeah, well, he's got that 4.5 seconds. It's not far off of how long it's going to take him to change the tyre, but they obviously lose a lot more coming in and going out. I guess somewhere around 15 seconds or something like that. But the people that have come in is Pavlovic, Gomedy, Sharp has been in, Ryan. They are some of the people that have stopped already, but at the moment, he is so committed, isn't he? Number 4, Will Power, the Australian driver here, is really pushing hard. He's just trying to break everyone as best he can, and I'd agree with you.
He's going through for another lap.
Yeah, another lap as he goes through, and we'll keep an eye on that margin that he had last time around.
1 minute 50.4, absolutely staggering pace there from Will Power. I mean, that is a full 7/10 faster than anybody else on that lap.
And with a full load of fuel, that's quicker than anyone went in qualifying. That's just stunning from him, and he really has got it now. 5.2 seconds now for Will Power over Danielson in second place. Kubica's third, Miguez, Fleming, Colin Fleming, Montanari, Fukuda down in 9th place at the moment. So
Sport Bikes, le magazine moto 100% compétition.
The thunder and excitement of American-built stock cars is welcome news to Motors TV viewers. The SCSA-sanctioned stock car series is back for another year of door-handle-to-door-handle racing on the Rockingham Super Speedway. Don't miss any of the action from Race 5 of the season, Monday, July the 18th from 9. Join Motors TV for another action-packed program of the most impressive tractor pulling found anywhere in Europe. The likes of Baby Duck, Oregon 2, Red Fever and Red Alert will all be at hand at Lavore for another exhibition of full pull tractor pulling at its very best. If you can't get enough of the thousands and thousands of horsepower featured in these massive machines, Be sure to tune in on Saturday, July the 23rd from 11 a.m. Be sure not to miss a minute of the high-speed wheel-to-wheel action that is the World Superbike Championship. We'll bring you all the highlights from round 7 of this year's championship, held on the demanding Brno circuit in the Czech Republic. Regis Laconi, James Toseland and Chris Vermeulen all speeding their way into your living room Thursday, July the 21st from 9. On Saturday, July the 23rd, join Motors TV for 2 hours of world-class motorcycle racing. The action gets underway at 1 p.m. with round 7 of the AMA Super Sport Division from Monterey, California. Then from 1:30 it will be the turn of the Formula Extreme to compete on the Laguna Seca circuit. Then from 2 we head to Austria for the 4th round of the FIM Superside World Cup on the legendary Salzburg Ring. Motorcycle racing and Motors TV, a hard combination to beat.
Yeah, I mean, Will Power, he's got to tread a fine line here. I mean, how long does he want to go and risk a safety car? Because at the end of the day on the street circuit, we see Pagnons, I think, had a bit of a problem there with the front right tyre on that pit stop.
8-second stop for him, so that wasn't good news from his point of view. But yeah, I would have thought now, very shortly, the number 4 car of Carling Motorsport, Will Power, should realistically come in for a stop. I mean, he's soon going to have time to get in and out, still leading the race if he carries on at this rate. But it would be a nightmare for him if we see a safety car, because that five and a bit second lead he has will be completely lost.
Yep, and I mean, at the moment he is still pulling away from Daniel, so you see big oversteer there from Will Power on the throttle. You know, he is pushing hard. I think he's sort of made a game plan that along with his Carling Motorsport team, that he's going to keep pushing until the first pit stop as hard as he can to build the gap up, and then work it out after the pit stop based on track position how it goes. But
maybe he's waiting to see, or his team's waiting to see what Danielson is up to. Possibly, I don't know.
Yeah, we see he's gone through for another lap, so he's well, maybe they've got a bit more faith in the drivers and the non-safety car in a running race without a safety car than we do, Steve. I don't know, but 49.8. That is the fastest lap of the weekend.
Yeah, the fastest lap in race 1 was a 50.284 from Andreas Zuber, so he has absolutely obliterated that with 17 laps remaining of this 22-lap race.
And Van Lagen is in the pits with Danielson. To be fair, he has actually got pretty good pace. I mean, he's on a 50.5. The only other person in the 1-minute 50s is Enrico Toccocello at the moment. So, you know, Van Lagen Danielson is just, he's actually doing a good job, I think, but it's just that Will Power is doing a staggering job.
Yeah, stunning job. Looking at most of these pit stops, they're all around 7 or 8 seconds. I saw the guys practicing this morning around 5 seconds, but we've spoken about that. It's one thing doing it when it's nice and quiet, no real pressure. It's another thing once the driver's there with the motor running and waiting to get out there. But this man here, we're looking at there, it is 1:49.854, fastest lap record at this moment. I cannot see that being beaten, but we'll wait and see. Will the tyres start to go off at this point, do you think, around this track?
No, not yet. I mean, it's not a very abrasive surface. I had a look at some of the tyres after the first race, and they still didn't look very worn, you know, after doing sort of 17 or 18 laps.
Okay, so we could see it coming down once the fuel load goes down on these cars, possibly. That's, of course, if he needs to keep pushing at that pace. But
well, don't forget, Steve, they've got a pit stop as well, so they get some fresher tyres a little bit later on in the race whenever they stop. So we could possibly see some better times coming at that point. But Power, he's in the pits. Yep, Power's into the pits at the end of lap 5.
Okay, now he'll have to hit the button, make sure he's on the speed restrictor, as we said, 50 kilometres an hour.
Yep.
Down that pit lane there. The engines sound rough, but that's because they're on the limiter as he pulls in, and the team will be there praying and hoping that everything works. You'll see the jack go under the front. Yep. There she goes up, and those 2 fronts are off.
Yep. Danielson's gone through for another lap. Oh, Will Power, yep, clean, no problem at all. 5.5, 6 seconds.
That's as good a stop as we've seen. Actually, that was a great stop.
He's rejoined ahead of Toccocello, so he's rejoined in 6th place, I do believe. No, Toccocello's got ahead. Sorry. Oh, he's gone straight on. Toccocello's got. it's going to be close now. Can Will outtrack him as they come out of the corner towards the university hairpin?
Well, this is the problem he's going to have now, isn't he? He's going to have slower people in front of him, people that weren't holding the pace that he was holding. I'm talking to Will Power, who has joined in 5th place, I believe, hasn't he, just about?
I'm not sure about that. We'll have a look as they come through on the next lap, but I do think that he's actually behind Enrico Toccacello.
Okay, well, Danielson is leading on the road at the moment, but of course he has to make a stop. Number 22 there.
Yeah, without us seeing it on our monitors, Kubica's gone in for a pit stop as well, I think, on the 2 laps ago. So we'll have to keep an eye out and see if Kubica's able to get out ahead of Danielson after Danielson's stop.
Sure, yeah, and this is the 22 car we're looking at now, the Dams car of the Swedish driver, Alex Danielsson, and he'll be keen to just get as best laps in he can whilst he's got a nice clear track in front of him. 150.58, yeah, 49.58.
Zuber, 49.5.
Wow.
Andrew Zuber, fantastic pace there. We were going on about Will Power setting the fastest lap with a 49.8, but his teammates has gone out and got 3/10 quicker. So
who of course did hold the lap record from race 1. He set the fastest lap in race 1. So yes, stunning time there. Just showing that the track is getting a lot better. You can see how much darker it is now. The rubber that's all been laid by the 2-litre class. We've had the Clios out, everything laying some rubber down. Everyone's getting used to the track. They'll have had some time this morning to maybe change 1 or 2 settings, just fine tweaks to make the cars work a little bit better. A lock up there.
Yep, Danielson, he's got a 5.4 second lead ahead of Miguez. I do believe at the moment, if you sort of take a corrective order, if you like, of people who have made their pit stop, we're going to find Will Power in the lead with Pavlovic still in 2nd place ahead of Kubica. Well, Kubica's going to be further down. I think it's going to be Pavlovic followed by Salignon, Fleming, and Valles. Something's not right with Kubica. He's further back than I expected him to be, I think.
Yeah, and obviously the worrying thing for Power is now if he's getting held up with some slower times. His last lap was 1:55 for Will Powers. Now car 21 under investigation. That's interesting. That's the Cram competition car of Alex Salignon from France. So I don't know what that investigation with. Maybe pit lane infringement or something's gone on there, or he's done something under a flag, but we wait and see what's going on there. But very concerning, I would have thought, for that lap time there from Will Power of 1:55.
Yeah, I think it's just the first lap he got a little bit muddled up with the chicane. We saw that with Toccacello.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, and also I think it does take a little while for the tires to settle down and get up to temperature. I think it's not because obviously they're not preheated up to optimum temperature. It does take a few laps, but I'm a bit surprised, I must say, that Danielson is still going strong. I would have expected him to stop. Oh,
he's in.
Just as I said that.
Just as you said that, he must be listening to you, because the leader, the reeler on the road, here he is, number 22, Danielson, Alex Danielson, goes in after 7 laps for his stop, and we saw around 5.8, wasn't it? I think was the time for Will Power. That's pretty good as well,
yep.
Just on 6 seconds there, so a couple of good stops there. Well, that's going to give us another new leader on the road, and that is the number 6 car of Miguez.
Yeah.
Is now leading.
Danielson has joined ahead of Pavlovic, Steve. So I think the order is now going to be Power, Danielson, Pavlovic, once they've all made their pit stops.
Okay, we'll wait and see what happens there, Karan, as they go out, and we keep an eye on the number 6 car that is leading on the road. And again, gambling all these guys that are making late stops, that there's not going to be a pace car coming out. I have to say, at the moment, everyone looks nice and tidy. No one's done anything really silly. There goes the number 6 Pons car of Miguez, who ended up in 7th place in race 1.
He's had a pretty good weekend by his standards, and he's not really been as quick as his teammate Adrian Baez so far this season, but this weekend at least he has been the quicker of the 2 Pons cars.
Okay, well, he's still only a youngster at 23 years old, as he's learning this track the same as everybody else. It's brand new to everyone, the 4-kilometre circuit round here at Bilbao, and I have to say, everyone looking neat and tidy at the moment, and they're probably all realising that with this pit stop nobody needs any pace cars coming out. And I'm just looking at the lap times again. 150, yeah, you're right, Will Power's back into the 150s again now, as everyone else is going around nice and cleanly. So with 14 laps of this race remaining, fuel load starting to come down, tyre temperatures very much up to their optimums, I would have thought, but it's whether or not anyone has to try and push. Miguez,
See, Miguez and Montanari, they're still pushing as hard as they can. They've set their personal fastest laps on that last lap, and the same for Torricello. But you know, we have to keep going back to sort of the corrected racing order, which is of people who have made their pit stop. In which case, we're looking at Will Power in front, ahead of Danielson, Pavlovic, and Salignon.
Yeah, Will Power did his hard work on those first 4 or 5 laps, didn't he? Stretching out that 5-second advantage. It just remains to be seen how much of that got eroded on his out lap when he did get tangled up a little bit at the chicane there. It's going to be real interesting to see with those cars that haven't yet stopped, and there is still Miguez, Montanari, Torricello in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Danielson's Danielson's gained some time in the pit stops, because the gap before the stop was about 6 seconds, I think, and it's now down to 3.4 between himself and Will Power. So if anything, I think Danielson's gained a bit, and Pavlovic has lost out because he was actually ahead of Danielson, but he's now almost 4 seconds behind after the pit stops.
Yeah, I think some of that will be down to that fairly slow outlap from Power, but still great news that there is no sign of a safety car out there. That's not really what we want to see. We want to see the truck, the race won on the track by sheer speed rather than tactics as far as this is concerned.
I think now we're looking pretty safe, to be honest, Steve. I mean, because the field's quite spread out. We see Miguez, and just look at the car bouncing around over those bumps. It's quite spectacular to watch when you're actually down there and you see them come down the bridge. I was watching the Formula Renault race earlier, and they actually had a massive shunt there yesterday, didn't they? They had 3 or 4 cars go off, and Miguez has just set another personal best as 50.0. So that is actually pretty good pace. I mean, it's not quite Zuber sort of Will Power pace, but it's still significantly faster than anyone else at the moment. And I mean, at this rate, Miguez could actually find himself further up the order than he was before the round of pit stops.
Absolutely. And what you were saying about how spectacular it looks from us here on camera, and when you're on the side of the track, you know as well as I do, if it looks spectacular, it's going to feel it when you're in that car. It's going to be incredible. I mean, even visionary problems with it being so bumpy around here.
Yeah, I mean, big lock up there. That's Zuber. He's pushing hard. He's going. That's a big lock-up, going straight across the first.
Massive. And no penalties as long as you don't make up any time. I believe that's the regulations, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he'll get away with that one. He's sort of driving around by himself.
How much will that affect the flat spot of the tyre? Would that cause a problem? Probably wouldn't even feel it on these bumps around here, but most circuits you would.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said. Around here. I think the vibration and the bumps are. They just mean that it's just another small vibration you got to deal with. Nothing massive, but. Again, the circuit is not very abrasive, so it won't really dig into the tyre as much as it would if you were at Valencia or Estoril, I think.
Yeah, fair, good point. And of course, these cars that no ABSs, no anything out. Fastest lap goes in now at 1:49.314 from Salignon in 8th position at the moment. Stunning. So he takes the lap record, and of course, at this moment, 1 point, because the fastest lap of the race will get an extra added point.
Well, we're just getting, I think, the typical street circuit syndrome, aren't we? We see this at Monaco, we see it at Macau, that the circuit gets quicker and quicker as more and more cars go around and lay more rubber down. So it's it's not unusual to be seeing faster lap times in the race. We sometimes I remember when we did the Macau, when you go out to watch the Macau Grand Prix, you'll find race fastest laps almost a second, 2 seconds sometimes quicker than in first qualifying.
Yeah. Well, still Miguez hasn't made a pit stop, but not bad. This is good coverage for his team. They're leading this race. They're getting all the camera shots as the number 7 car of Potero comes in from the Epsilon team. He comes in, and we keep an eye on his pit stop times. This is going to be a pretty slow one, I reckon. That was well over 7, maybe 8 seconds stop.
Yeah, it didn't look particularly fast over there. Didn't get a time caption on that, but still. Miguez in the lead. There's a yellow flag out at the background. Oh, we can see.
Here's a car stopped. Yeah. That is the number 11 car of Mendy
Banani from Morocco.
Well,
I do believe the only Moroccan driver. Well, this is going to be the interesting part. Let's have a look and see if they do deploy the safety car, which has been deployed far more than he has all season, I think, through the course of this race weekend. But he does look to be in a fairly safe spot in terms of getting the car out of the way. I think there's a bit of runoff area at the back, so they should be able to sort of wheel him back.
Wheel him back very, very quickly and get him out as quick as they can. So it doesn't look like we're going to have a safety car. That's good news.
Yeah, they've withdrawn the yellow flags as well, so we're all clear on that one. As we see Miguez still pressing on in the lead. He's actually pulling away from Montanari at about half a second or 6/10 a lap. So that's good going from him, really.
Good solid times, as you rightly say, 150.1. That's cracking solid times, lap after lap for him.
No, he's into the pits now. Miguez has just pulled into the pits at the end of lap 11, half distance. And I think we're going to have a new race leader. We are going to have a new race leader in Christian Montanari from the Draco racing team.
Yeah, we are, as he comes in, and again, everyone praying and hoping they get those wheels off. Everybody so far has changed the fronts. They're the easiest tyres to change. And I guess...
yeah, Montanari's in as well, behind him. So it's going to be Enrico Toccocello now in the lead, ahead of Will Power having made his pit stop. And I think Miguez has actually rejoined ahead of Eric Salignon. So that's good going from Miguez. He's made I think he's made a couple of places up from where he started. Yeah, he was behind Kubica and Salignon earlier on, so he's made up a few places. But I think Winkelhock's the big loser, isn't he?
Yeah,
Winkelhock started 4th on the grid, and on our timing screen he's actually down in 12th at the moment. So you know, he has been the big loser so far in this race in terms of the way the strategies and the race orders played out.
Yeah, that's a very valid point there. Like you say, it's all coming to the top now because Power there is only 2 seconds back on Toccocello, who's yet to make a stop.
Yeah, we can see them now. I mean, it's Power's closing him down, I think, and I do think Power's just going to bide his time and sit behind him. He knows for sure, obviously, Toccocello has to make a pit stop.
What he doesn't want to do, though, is let Danielson close that gap down on him if he catches Toccocello.
Yeah, I mean, but I think Toccocello's pace is reasonable enough. You know, he's been quick enough so far in this race to not unduly worry Will Power about about the threat from behind from Danielson and Pavlovich and so on. But it'll be interesting to see how long the victory racing car of Enrico Toccocello decides to go before he makes his pit stop.
But I bet that Will Power will be pleased to see him make it anyway. He'd just love to see a clear track in front of him, so he'll be willing it to happen. It hasn't happened this lap around because Toccocello goes over the line again. 150.3, and Power is that bit faster. 5/10, half a second a lap quicker from Power on Toccocello. Danielson 150.7, so that's good news, isn't it, from Power's point of view, because Toccocello leading this race, who hasn't yet made a stop, is actually lapping quicker than the 3rd place man Danielson. Pavlovic there in 4th place. This is still good news from him. 9 laps to go, and you see on the bottom of your screen those positions, but
let's see, car 29. I think that's Daniel La Rosa's pulled out. We see big oversteer there from Toccocello. He's still pushing on because I think in the pit stop you need about 17 or 18 seconds in total, including sort of coming in and going out of the pits. Not a very long pit lane, but like you said, it's 10 kilometers slower, the speed limit, than it is in most other circuits. So there's a bit of concern there from the team's point of view in terms of getting the drivers back out in good track position. But Power, he is closing in, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just got a bag on his front aerofoil there. Will that affect things much? I've noticed there's something wrapped around the front wing.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it would affect the aerodynamics of the car a little bit. As we see Zuber 48.8, stunning lap there. I mean, that is incredible pace from Andreas Zuber. Yep, you're right. There is actually a bit of...
Yeah, it's like a plastic bag isn't it? On the front of Power's the number 4 car.
We'll keep an eye on the lap times and see if he does, his pace actually drops off a bit. I don't think it'll affect him too badly. It will undoubtedly, disturb the airflow around the front wing, but the cars generate so much downforce. Oh, big slide there from Toccocello.
Oh, yeah.
He's gone wide. Just he had a little bit of oversteer turning into the corner. He went wide over the curbs, and that's allowed Will Power to catch right up again.
Yeah, looking at Power's time, still at 150.2, so it's not really harming him too much.
Toccocello, he's all over the place, isn't he, Toccocello? He went wide, and he's, he went straight onto the chicane, and then he's come back ahead of Will Power and held him off. So he's, they're holding each other up really, and we'll just have to see if Danielson gets a chance to close up. We'll have a look at the times that they go.
Will Power doesn't need to get tangled up in a fight here, does he? Because the last thing he needs to do is to get biffing and bumping at the front, because I would think almost certainly that the number 9 car there of Toccocello will come in this time around. He's having all sorts of problems there. So losing the rear end going in, just went in a bit too hot.
Yeah, I mean, I think between that and going across the chicane, holding Power up, they've lost about a second, 1.7 seconds, I do believe, to the third place car, which is Alex Danielson in the Dams car. It was a big jump over the curve. We see Power came back down the inside, but Toccocello, big weave to the left. And I mean,
there it is. And all the tyres are dirty from that point on. Takes a little while to get it all cleaned up, doesn't it? Yeah, he's all over the place now. And I think that's what caused the problem down at the next chicane, down at the Botica chicane. But as I said, Will Power can do better than get tangled up with a fight here at the front, as long as he can keep his advantage. And it looks to me like he still has a decent advantage over that third place car.
Yep, I mean, Power is he just needs to sit behind Toccocello. He doesn't need to do a lot. Just sit behind Toccocello and make sure and hope that he doesn't get caught up in anything that happens to the car in front or with the back markers or anything like that, and just hope that he's able to hold off Danielson. But I mean, it's so difficult to pass around the circuit. I think that it shouldn't really be much of a problem for Will Power.
No, well, there's the gap. That's in theory, it's the second and third guys that we're talking about. That's the race for the lead, because Toccocello, who actually is leading this, still has to make his pit stop.
Yeah, we see car number 3 under investigation just flashed up on the screen. That's Andreas Zuber. It may be for that little shortcut we saw him take across the chicane, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Or and I wonder if that investigation, because he's still in theory the fastest car out on the circuit there, maybe the investigation is to see what he's done to that car to make it that fast.
Yeah.
And look at Toccocello, he is all over the place now, slipping and sliding in rain. And you can see those lap times came down a huge amount, and that was purely and simply because of Toccocello getting himself in a muddle, Will Power being slowed down by that. That's reduced the gap. Danielson has closed a little bit, but it's not dramatic at this present time.
And you see the drivers actually come out to the middle of the road in that section just to avoid the bumps on the left-hand part of the circuit. As they do that again, you see Will Power moving over a little bit more than even Toccocello did. But Zuber, he's not bothered about the car's 3 on the investigation. He just set another fastest lap.
48.244. That is a stunning time. Bearing in mind that qualifying here was a 49.9. So yeah, stunning time there.
Arms clap to the people from the back to front. Go check the sound. Blaupunkt, the advantage in your car.
The very best desert races had a rendezvous in Morocco for the running of this year's Orient Rally. Volkswagen team leader Bruno Sabi was looking to score his first career title and give the German brand much-needed momentum heading towards their preparations for the 2006 Dakar. Join Motors TV for the best moments from the latest round in the World Cross Country Cup, Saturday, July the 23rd from 9 p.m. With so much involvement and influence from German interests, both sporting and business these days in Formula One, the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim has become a crucial race on the World Championship calendar. In the next edition of Inside Grand Prix, we'll take you for an inside look at the 12th round of the championship. Inside Grand Prix, Tuesday, July the 19th from 7:30.
Just wanna give up.
I mean, that just shows how much the circuit's cleaning up. And to some extent, it does show how much the pace of the front runners is actually slowed because they're running sort of in traffic and together. We'll see Tococello's pulled into the pits. Yep. So now Will Power's clean and free to run at the front and dictate the pace of this race. Even he has a big slide actually coming in the last corner. He's got, oh! Will Power got so close to the outside barrier, didn't he?
Absolutely. I don't know when the pit lane restriction starts there, but boy, he was hot coming in there, wasn't he? Bit of steam, smoke off of those carbon brakes. They've got a problem there with the front left, and it's an 8.9 second stop there, so that's not done him any favours whatsoever. As the way he goes, boy, was he fast coming in. Number 3 still, car number 3, which is Zuba, still under investigation according to our screen now. As you were saying, Will Power there. Karun has still with that bag on the front wing, flapping around, doesn't seem to be causing him too much of a problem, but he now can control this race as he has a 3.8 second lead over Danielson.
Yep, all the cars have now made their pit stop, so this is purely and simply the racing order. We see Salignon and Miguez is a bit of a race on with Fleming behind, but now I was saying earlier, it was Will Power who went unbelievably close to the outside wall as we were looking at Tococello come into the pit lane. Will Power had a bit of a slide at the last corner, went really, really wide. I mean, but you know, compare the pace of the leaders. They're all sort of between 50.5 to 50.8, and then Zuba's just gone out and done a 48.2. You know, so he's 2 seconds a lap faster than anybody else at the moment. And that is just quite staggering pace, really.
Yeah, it really is. I guess looking at Will Power there, he's thankful that that bag is on the front wing. The nightmare is you get it in your air intake there onto the radiators, and if it blocks the radiator, then that's pretty much your race run, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if it covers the airbox or something, that you just lose all power in the engine, and that'll be the end of his race. So it is, I'm sure, a bit of a concern.
Around the 2 right-handers before they come over the line for one more time. As he crosses that line, we look at the time of 50.624, nice and comfortable there, 5 laps remaining.
That's Montanari. Big spin, oh, so close to Ryan Sharp. Big spin there from Montanari, kept his boot in, kept his foot in it, big smoke, and fairly spectacular, bit of a show for the crowd.
Yeah, nice little donut spun out there. Not that he would have wanted that to happen. He was down in 12th place, and he's lost a couple of places now for Montanari. Drops down to 13th.
So let's sort of recap on what's happened then so far, Steve, after the pit stops. The big losers, Kubica and Winkelhock, I think. I mean, they started 4th and 6th, and they're now down in 9th and 10th position, with Winkelhock in 9th and Kubica in 10th. So they've lost out quite a bit.
I'm saying Kubica, the championship leader, down in 10th place. That's only 1 point as it stands at the moment, and the man that's second in the championship, Will Power, would grab 15. So that would be etching into his lead, albeit it's 37 points. But that's not good news, really, for Kubica, is it?
No, I mean, at the moment, he is just going to score the 1 point. I think Fleming has gained a couple of places through those pit stops. The top 5 have stayed fairly similar, apart from Winkelhock going downwards. Miguez has moved up into 4th place, having started down in 8th, and he should be starting in 7th, so he should be quite pleased with that. But just as I said that, there's a collision from Salignon and Miguez.
Yeah,
I was just talking about him there.
Oh,
and
that's as they come up to go over the bridge, isn't it? And they just tried to get through there.
And
body
he's out of it. Miguez is out of it, and that's it's benefited Fleming with that move from Salignon. Miguez, he's got damage, I think, in the front. Yep, that's it. The front left tire, you can see that. Yeah. And so Fleming's going to move up 2 places now into 4th place. So that'll please him and his counterparts at Red Bull and the driver program and everybody involved with that.
That's bad news for Miguez. He's having a good weekend up until now.
Yeah, but I mean, the hometown boy, he was driving a good race, I think, and good solid race, looking good for a top 4 finish, solid points. and he's not going to get that today. He'll be massively disappointed with that.
Meanwhile, with 4 laps remaining, we are looking at Will Power having a great ride there in the Carling Motorsport machine. And is that a replay of what was going on again there? Oh,
no, that's a spin. That's Passini. Damien Passini. That spin. He does look like he's sitting a lot higher than the other drivers, doesn't he, Passini?
Yeah.
When you look at that.
Yeah, he does. And you're right, in the Cram competition machine has a spin out there. Amazingly, and I say amazingly, still no safety car, which is great news. We were all expecting all sorts of things to go on, but it doesn't.
I think they're just doing it to prove us wrong. We spoke about it so much before the start of this race. They've decided to defy the laws of logic this weekend at least.
Yeah, certainly of motorsport, because I would have put money on there being a safety car. We've seen it in most other races here this weekend. But all credit to the drivers and everybody that's putting this great race on here. Gap is 4.6 seconds as Will Power has over Danielson. Pavlovic there in 3rd place. Good drive from him, and you were saying, Karun, he's one of the nice guys, isn't he, out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Milos, he's had a difficult season. I know him quite well now, and we spend a lot of time together, and he's had quite a difficult season, and it's great to see him have a good result. I'm very pleased for him.
Okay, over the line he goes again, and there it is. 3 laps remaining of this race, the main event here in Bilbao. As he crosses the line, 4.4, so he's extending his lead now, Power. He's lapping quicker, 152. Actually, he's not. That last time around, Danielson was slightly quicker, 0.3 quicker that time around. So I guess now, with 3 laps remaining, he can afford really to lose half a second a lap, no problems whatsoever, making sure he's nice and tidy, keeping away from the walls, and just praying and hoping that it all runs nicely. It's amazing when leading a race like this how you start to think, can I feel a vibration? Is there something making a noise that I didn't think was making a noise before? Is that front tyre hard? Is there anything on the track?
Yeah, we see Salignon still going, so it's just Miguez who lost out.
Yeah, that's helped Kubica. He's up to 8th now.
Yep, Kubica's got a few more points, and so is Winkelhock, and Fleming was a big beneficiary there. He's moved up 2 places with that, so he's now going to score 8 points as opposed to 5.
And Ryan Sharp there in 9th. He'll get some points his first time back in this series. That's good news from Ryan Sharp.
Yep, Toccacello's out as well. Don't know, didn't see what happened to him, but
straight on somewhere, I think, isn't he?
They're wheeling Enrico Toccacello off. That's the first chicane. He's been across there 2 or 3 times so far already, and I think this time he's out for good.
Yeah.
Yep. You see the marshals waving at him to stop and I think get out. Yeah, we can see him unplugging the radio.
Okay, that's him out from Toccacello. It's been a bit of a nightmare for him. Ended up 5th in race 1. Toccacello, who was 5th in the championship, I'm not sure if he will be now because it's really close on the points around that area. But not for this man, because he is definitely making inroads into the championship lead as he crosses the line now with 2 laps remaining. And his lead as he goes over, as we get a replay of what goes on, that's a mechanical problem, I guess. He's pulled in there, it wasn't going in too hot. He's got some kind of mechanical problem there for number 9, the Victory Engineering car of Toccacello.
Oh, looks like a gearbox sort of thing. It just sort of stalled, didn't it?
Hard on second gears around
here. Yeah, look at that big slide there. That's Gomendi going wide, and I think he spun it. Yep, he spun. That's Tristan Gomendi. Well, he's well down the order anyway, 15th place before that, but
that advantage has come down again, and we look, it's 3.9 now for Danielson. I don't think he can do anything about it. He's just, I think probably Will Power's decided to start cruising a little bit, put it in cruise mode, make sure you're doing everything nicely, changing gear nice and smoothly, not loading the car up too much.
Yeah, it's a big gap, 3.9 seconds. It doesn't sound like much, but it's big enough gap when you've got only 2 laps of the race left, and he can afford to drop a second or 2 per lap and just make sure that he brings the car home nice and safe.
Yeah, and I look down for some more battles. Winkelhock's right on the back of Velez for 6th and 7th position in this fight. But it is Kubica's a long, long way back from Winkelhock. He can't really make any more inroads unless anyone has any problems.
This is going to, as long as all goes well for Will Power, I don't want to give him the commentator's curse, but this is going to do his championship hopes a great deal of good, because Gomendi is not going to score, and Valles is down in 6th place, and Tokicello's out. Zuba is not going to score, so it'll sort of clear him out of the bunch for the fight for 2nd place.
Yeah, and as you say, he will get those 15 points. Yellow flag at turn 10. We'll keep an eye on that. He'll get the thing as he starts his last lap now. Last lap, away we go. And Will Power will get those 15 points for the win. And Kubica in 8th position there will just get 3. So that's a nice way of etching into that advantage that Kubica has. There is the gap, and that's Danielson. You can see in 2nd place, a long, long way back. He's got Pavlovic all over him now.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the plastic bag's actually now stuck on the wishbone of Will Power's car. It's slowly shredding itself as we go through the race, but you could see that he's leaving big gap to the wall now, isn't he? He's just trying to be nice and safe. But Pavlovic is keeping the pressure on, it has to be said. He's not backed off from Danielson. He's still keeping him honest, and just, you never know in racing. You could pressure him into a mistake. So Milos is a sharp cookie. He's been around for a long time. He's done British Formula 3 in 2000 and 2001. He won the World Series Lights Championship last year, so he's got plenty of racing experience behind him. And we see Power now nice
already,
and well control.
Looked to me like he was waving to the crowd at that point, so that's maybe a little bit premature, but just a few corners remaining for the Australian. And as he really eases that Carling Motorsport,
he's getting stronger and stronger, isn't he? He's he won at Le Mans in fairly good fashion. He was quick at Valencia as well. Not quick enough to win, but still quick enough to get on the podium. And he's really coming on strong now as we head into the 2nd half of the season. And I do believe that we're going to have a good fight between himself and Kubica, maybe.
Absolutely.
As the season goes
2
on.
corners remaining now as the number 4 car from Carling Motorsport comes round to take the win here, the main event, the 2nd race. And there's the checkered flag as the Australian Will Power takes that. 2nd place goes to Danielson, and 3rd is Pavlovic. A great result from him, really pleased for him. And there it is, Fleming in 4th. A fantastic drive there from Will Power. He took a 2nd in race 1 and now caps that off with a win to get into that lead of Kubica. He has closed the gap for 2nd place, extended his margin over the other guys, Gomendi and those guys. So really a fabulous result for Will Powers, the 25-year-old Australian, who has done a superb job here today. And there he is, putting his hand up, saying, I'm number 1, and so you should be. Fastest lap, I still believe, was to Zuba, but his car, there was an investigation going on there, so we'll have to wait and see what goes on there as to who takes that extra point for fastest lap. But as he goes round with his finger in the air, number 1 he is here today. He's top point scorer, there is no question about that. Taking the checkered flag there, a fabulous drive there for the 25-year-old Australian, who puts his favourite driver down as Ayrton Senna and Steve Wow. So great stuff and a great race.
Yeah, we see the boys at Carlin there, obviously delighted with that win. His engineer, Daniele Rossi, very, very pleased there, shaking his arm into the air. And good result for the team. Yeah, and they gambled a little bit early on by making a late-ish stop, not as late as some of the others, but it all worked out. Not a single sign of a safety car, which was great news for everybody, for all the spectators here. And there are hundreds of people here, thousands of people. I don't know what the exact crowd is, but it looks to me like close on 80, 90,000 people here watching this race. And there is a view of where we're at, right over the top of the Bilbao River. And it was a great race, and I think everyone should have a pat on the back, from the organisers to the drivers and the teams that put it on. So top 10 was Power, Danielson, Pavlovic, Fleming, Salignon, Valles, Winkelhock. Kubica gets 8th. Ryan Sharp, the UK driver, 9th, and